All right, crew, super excited today. I get to try out my new system, my new build, right? The AMD 3090X Ryzen Threadripper, 128 cores of awesomeness, and paired with the Radeon Pro W6800, right? 32 gigs of vRam. Awesome card. We're going to put it through the rigors. I've been using it for the last couple of weeks, kind of testing some things out. And today I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you all the cool stuff that I found, and we're going to test it out in SOLIDWORKS and Visualize, right? We're doing both. So stay tuned. Let's take a look. All right, so the first thing we're showing off today is how the W6800 Radeon Pro graphics card handles large files inside of SOLIDWORKS. So you can see I have nice smooth rotations. Let's go ahead and take a look at our task manager real quick. There we go. Now that I've squeezed everything into one screen here, you can see all the cores chiming away. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at our GPU. This is the AMD Radeon Pro W6800. We're specifically looking at our 3D usage. And let's go ahead and look at our RAM. So we're using 5 gigs of RAM, it looks like, to open up this file. Lower than actually the competitors, so it seems to be handling the file better. Let's go ahead and do some rotates and see what the how the GPU pings. So getting up to 54, 59%, I see. So lots of files with some really heavy graphics triangles. We've got 12 at 1.6, so we're stacking up that memory for sure. Due to that, but total number of components, the top level assembly, 7,577, 6,859 parts, 22,218 bodies. So tons of bodies here. So I would put this in the high level, you know, the large assembly mode for sure. And if you're looking, or if your particular company, you know, runs through multi-body or lots of components at the assembly level, I really think the 6800 with 32 gigs of RAM is just an awesome pairing. And you know, this whole telescope loaded up in about 3 minutes in SolidWorks, which is about the same time it normally loads. Lightweight, of course. It takes about 9 minutes to load resolved. I also noticed that when I was loading this, I was able to get the Ryzen 3090X up to about 3.4 gigahertz, I think it was. That was like the peak that I saw every once in a while. So it was chiming away. That's always good. But all in all, real smooth rotation, smooth movements, you know, what you'd expect, I guess, out of SOLIDWORKS 2021, a 3090X and a Radeon Pro 6800. Super happy with it. Okay, so here I just fired up the assembly visualization plot, which means it's generating the plot for all the components in this assembly. You can see it chiming through. I just wanted to note that, you know, I'm not using all of the cores, certainly in the 3090X. Not many things do, right? We'll jump into Visualize and we'll jump into some simulation that'll start pinging some more. But you can see I'm pinging quite a few cores here at this top level. Maybe about 8 of them is what I'm guessing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, about 8. And those seem to be working correctly. So that's always nice to see some multi-threading. All right, so we're taking a look at graphics triangles specifically here. We have lots and lots of graphics triangles. So this first floor detail, how many zeros is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 11 million graphics triangles. And then certainly some other ones that are certainly very heavy, you know, 3,820,000. So the point of showing this is that, yeah, this is a graphically intensive file, and the 6800 is just knocking it out of the park. And that's just all there is to it, right? There's no smoke and mirrors. It just is what it is. You know, rotating this thing is a pleasant experience. There's no lag. I even had Visualize running simultaneously earlier, and it was still a pleasant experience. You know, obviously more resources are being split up, but you know, the visual properties there were good. Okay, so on this step, we're going to take a look at how Visualize, the 3090X, and the Radeon Pro 6800 graphics card all kind of pair and mesh together to render something live in Visualize. So I want to show you some of my settings before we trek forward here. The first thing is under Tools Options. You're going to see that we are using the Pro Render tool. I have my CPU workload set at 80%. That's just reserving 20% for everything else that's going on, recording, video, audio, Windows, etc. And we're going to use the full extent of the Radeon Pro W6800. All right. So those are my settings. I also have my performance tools from from AMD up on the left-hand screen, so we can see both the RAM, the vRam, and the GPU all working together. Let me expand this out so we can see the vRam there. There we go. We'll go a little bit further because I think I have one more clock speed on the RAM usage, utilization, and then all the specs that we would need to monitor kind of as we're trucking through this render. Now, one of the things I did notice, one of the differences I noticed is that the spool up time on pass counts, the number of passes per second, is a little bit different with the Pro Render tool. So we're going to watch it spool up initially. It'll start off at 1 and then work its way to 2, and then go up to some 7 or something like that. It's gonna plateau. But that does take a little bit longer. But I don't think it's a shortfall. I think it's just 2 different engines working. So those are my settings. This is everything that we're expecting to see. We're looking at pass count. You'll see that spool up. You can see that we're running the Pro Render, and then you can see the CPU running, the GPU running, clock speed, power consumption, temperature, vRam, everything's here on the screen for you. So now comes the fast forward. Let's go. All right, looks like we finished the pass counts here. We're at 3,000 passes, 3,000 of 3,000, rendering the OMEX dataset. Nice lighting inside. Looks pretty darn good, actually, too. Let's take a look at how long this took to render here. All right, so after looking through the results, we found that it took 7 minutes and 21 seconds for this thing to complete a full render of the OMEX dataset in SOLIDWORKS Visualize. And 7 minutes and 21 seconds is lightning fast. So all in all, exactly what I expected out of the 6800. Super happy with it. Again, been working with it for 2 weeks, had no issues. And workstation cards have been progressively getting better and better. And that holds 100% true for the AMD 6800. All in all, runs SOLIDWORKS like a champ, runs Visualize like a champ. And I can attest, even though I didn't show it here, runs plastics and simulation like a champ. In SOLIDWORKS Visualize, you saw that we can spool up all 128 cores. And in the plastic simulation, we can actually spool up 64 of those cores. Now, just a little tip, if you are a SOLIDWORKS plastic simulation expert and you're looking to utilize maximum core usage, all you'd have to do is disable SMT in the BIOS, therefore not splitting the cores into 2 halves into 128, but just keeping all 64, and you can really, really chime through some plastic simulation, right? Instead of it taking hours, it takes hour. Anyway, that'll do it for me, folks. I hope you enjoyed this. You have a great weekend. Have a great day. Take care.